Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to do a border and the base for your border on a corner to corner C2C blanket. Now because you've made these little blocks, rather than working into these stitches and trying to create the border from that, I'm going to show you how to do a base all the way around your blanket first, so that then you can work your border into that base and you can work any stitch that you want for your border. And I'm going to simply show you the block stitch because that pairs so nicely with the corner to corner blankets. So I'm just finishing off my blanket here with my last slip stitch, and then I'm going to flip it and I'm going to do 3 slip stitches so that I'm back in the corner. And now I'm going to start off my border from this corner here. So I'm going to chain 2, do a single crochet right into the same corner. And now the base for our border, we're going to continue on in that pattern. We're going to chain 2 and then do a single crochet. And now our single crochet will be in between each block, all the way around. So chain 2 and then work into this space here. Right there in between the blocks is where you want to do your single crochet. And then chain 2 and then go into this space in between the next 2 blocks, single crochet, chain 2 and into the next space right here. And that's all there is to it to do the base for your border. And then it leaves us with this little, with these chain 2 spaces are where we're going to build our border. We're going to use those spaces to do, in this case, a block stitch, but you could do a shell stitch or whatever stitch you want to do as the border. And that gives us something to work with that'll give us a nice even border. So continue chaining 2 and doing a single crochet between each block, and I will meet you at your first corner. Okay, so now I'm approaching my first corner. I've just done a chain 2, now another single crochet in the last space before the corner, and then chain 2, and then we're going to have to find a space to work into the corner. So I'm going to go into this space here and do a single crochet, chain 2, and then do a single crochet in the same place you just did that single crochet to create your corner. And then that gives us this chain 2 space in the corner where we can work the extra stitches needed in order to turn the corner. And then chain 2 and then head on to the next space in between 2 blocks. And then you can continue going all the way around your blanket like that, and I will meet you when we get back to where we started the chain 2 single crochet. Okay, so now I've gone all the way around and I've just done the single crochet in the last space before the corner. So chain 2, and then we've already created that corner. We just need to find the single crochet that we did first in the corner, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch through there to finish off this round. And if you're choosing to do your own stitch for the border, I'm going to show the block stitch, but if you're going to do another stitch, then once this slip stitch is done, you would either switch to a new color or do your starting chain for whatever stitch you're choosing and then carry on. So because I'm doing the block stitch, I'm now going to, I'm actually going to turn it for ease of work and go back down the row. So I'm not going to do the corner until I come back around. So I'm going to chain 3 Well, this is the start of the block stitch. And then working on that chain 2 that we've just created, I'm going to do 2 double crochets, and my starting chain counts as one of those double crochets. Now the block stitch is 3 double crochets, and it's going to be 3 double crochets in each chain 2 space that we've created. And then there's 1 double crochet, 2, and 3. And then what makes the block stitch different is that on our next row we are going to be continuing the same pattern that we've already started. We're going to be doing chain 2 and a single crochet in between each group of 3 double crochets, and that's going to give us a really cool look. So we're going to do another 3 double crochets into each chain 2 space, and that pattern will continue around for as many rows as you want to do your block stitch, and you end on a double crochet row. So carry on doing 3 double crochets in each chain 2 space until you get to your corner, and I will show you how to do the corners. Okay, so I'm coming to my first corner. You can see why the block stitch works so well as a border on corner to corner, because those groups of 3 double crochets match up perfectly with the blocks that you've created in the corner to corner method. So I've done my 3 double crochets right there on a chain 2, and that's not my corner. My corner is going to be inside of this chain 2 space, which ends up being right here. So find your chain 2 space that you made in the corner and do 3 double crochets inside of that chain 2 space, and then chain 1 and do another 3 double crochets inside that same chain 2 space, and that is what will create our corner. So you have 6 double crochets all in that same chain 2 space, 3 and 3 separated by a chain 1. So there's your corner, and then you can simply go on to the next chain 2 space and carry on with your 3 double crochets. So now you know how to do it all the way around. So go all the way around, and then if you want to stop there, you could, if you want to do just a double crochet border, but I will show you how to go on to another single crochet round. Okay, so now I'm coming up to the end of my first row. So there's my 3 double crochet group, but that does not count as part of my corner. I've got to do 3 double crochets in the corner where the chain 2 is. Now this isn't it. This is the top of a single crochet. I've got to move over a little bit and find my chain 2 space, which is actually this space right here. And you'll be able to tell once you get a feel for it. So those 3 double crochets, and then a chain 1, and then another 3 double crochets in that same space. And 3, and then we're going to connect it to the top of our chain 3. So that's why we did a chain 3. I normally do a chain 2 when I'm working with double crochets. We did a chain 3 so that we have a 3rd chain at the top we're going to connect that to. So then loop that into your 3rd chain there of your starting chain. And then that's 1 round. There, just finish that off with the slip stitch. So that's 1 round of the block stitch. That's an option. You can stop here and tie it off. You can also continue on with what I'm going to do next, which is I'm going to do another row. Now this is what makes the block stitch the block stitches. You're going to do repeats of the double crochet row alternated with the single crochet chain 2 row that we did first to build a base for ourselves. So I'm going to chain 3 to start so that I have 1 extra one as my starting chain, and then a single crochet in between the groups of 3 double crochets. So chain 2, just like what we did to make ourselves a base for our border, Same thing, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. So what that's going to do is that's going to give us our next row, and then we're going to keep repeating the same thing. So on rows 3, you're going to be repeating row 1. It's just these 2 rows alternating, which is what makes the block stitch, and it turns out really pretty. It looks really great if you're doing your single crochet rows in a different color from your double crochet rows, which I will show you an example of in a moment. So then that's going to be just the same, and the corners are going to be the same as our row right around the corner to corner blocks. So I'm just going to head on down here to the first corner. And I did a blanket for my little girl, and it's got this block stitch around it. It's the corner to corner in a solid color like this one. And then the block stitch, I did the same color as the blanket for the double crochets, and then different colors for the single crochet. And then when you go around with your double crochets, you're covering up that chain 2, remember. So what you just see the single crochets in the other color peeking out, and it gives a really, really nice look. Now I'm just going to show you the corner here. I did my chain 2, and then into that chain 1 space, I do a single crochet, chain 2, and then another single crochet still in the chain 1 space to set up my corner for the next round. And then of course you would end your border on a double crochet round. Okay, so now I'm going to carry on like that, and then you can do as many rows around your border as you want in that block stitch. You can also make the block stitch into a blanket, and there's lots of ways to work that. So easy, just chaining and double crochets and single crochets. Now I know you're going to want to see what it looks like as a finished piece. So now on my daughter's blanket I did a whole bunch of revolutions around. I did 8 rows of the block stitch. So that's what it looks like when you do a different color for the single crochet and the chain. So then the white, your double crochets on your next round, will just cover up those chain 2s, and that just leaves the single crochets poking out in different colors, and it works wonderfully. I love the look of the block stitch. It works great even with white. And that's what it looks like when it's all done. So that was a corner to corner blanket. And then you can do your block stitch, your border as big or as small as you want. So there you go. That's what that looks like when that's done. So please let me know if you have any ideas for other videos, things that you want to learn, questions, comments. Leave them below and I will get back to you. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.